with you, bro.
So don't give me some fucking stop story here. I know what the fuck is happening here. They may be confused and make fun of me for interrupting. I'm the least confused fucker you'll ever meet. You got your perspective. I just want to be happy. Don't you want to be happy? Hey guys, it's Gary Vaynerchuk. So in this new year in 2020, we're doing a bunch of different formats for the podcast and content, not just kind of putting it all under the umbrella of the Ask GaryVee show, which is super ironic because this episode of the audio experience, we're going to be interviewing a author, but the 100%, I'm sure Colin is so uncomfortably remarkable, and we'll find that all out, but 100% of the reasons that he is sitting here is because India, the former star of the Ask GaryVee show, now works with him because she moved. For all you super hardcore OG Ask GaryVee fans, India's actually in studio, so I know you're all fired up. But this part of the conversation is about Colin. So Colin, for everybody who is listening, give them the kind of framework of who you are and what this book that just came out is about. And then we'll get into some jamming.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. It's great to be here, and we are grateful to have India on the team. She moved to the West Coast, my hometown, Portland, Oregon. So I guess that's a little bit where my story starts. I'm from Portland, Oregon. The book that came out today is called The Impossible First: From Fire to Ice, Crossing Antarctica Alone. I last year became the very first person in history to cross Antarctica solo, completely unsupported and unaided, so no outside support. I had to carry all my food and fuel with me, 375-pound sled, 54 days all alone. Adventurers and explorers have been attempting this feat for over 100 years. Some people have died attempting it. No one had ever been able to do it before, and I kind of cracked the code and was able to do it. So the ones that didn't die would just quit and turn around? Yeah, or like run out of food or run out of supplies and call for support. Obviously, getting support or pickup in the middle of Antarctica is not an easy thing, but it can be done. You can be extracted. But the reason the title is called From Fire to Ice is 12 years ago, actually. The book came out today, but it's also the 12-year anniversary of a tragic accident in my life. I was severely burned in a fire 12 years ago in Thailand, and the doctors told me I would never walk again normally. So it's humbling, but also a proud day to know that that diagnosis was wrong. I was able to recover from that and achieve some things on the other end of it that I never thought were possible at the time. So how'd you do it? I know it's something you talk a lot about, but it's really the power of the mind. The mindset for me was the difference. Can you answer something for me that will finally help me in my life? Yes. Is being cold a mindset? It's being cold a mindset. You know, I think that you can definitely... Because I don't wear coats, right? And everybody makes fun of me for this. And then I'm always like, but I'm from Belarus, and I make this joke that I was from Russia. So, but I don't believe that. Do you get cold? Not if I don't want to. Right. I mean, so the average temperature in Antarctica was about minus 30 degrees every single day. I was pulling my sled 12 plus hours a day, wind chill minus 70 degrees, and I was out there alone for 2 months. And I didn't end up with any severe frostbite or anything like that. A few little frost nips on my nose. I'm not sure it was all in my mind. I wasn't walking out there completely naked. Wim Hof did blurb the book, but I don't know if you could make it completely naked out there. But definitely was able to keep myself warm, particularly when you're pulling a 375-pound sled. And that's the point, right? It's not a binary thing, to your point. Right. It's not like you're going to I guess my punchline is this. I failed all my science classes, so that didn't put me in a position to really know the answer to any of these questions. But on my intuition, I'm wildly fascinated by people underestimating the power of the brain. Absolutely. I mean, that's where... That feels so right to me, and even the reaction of the room, I really believe in it. That's my truth. As I said, from fire to ice, people say, how did you get out of this Thai hospital? So go deeper into the book, obviously, but real quick, I was jumping a flaming jump rope in Thailand when I was 22 years old. Not the brightest move ever. You told me this story, right? Yeah, I think I've told you this before. The rope wrapped around my legs. Remind me where we cross paths on this, because I know this story, and when you started telling, I'm like, fuck, I know this story. Yeah. And I was like, you're right. I know this story. Yeah, I've been in here before. I know AJ a little bit. Right. We got a mutual friend. When you were talking about and the Nike guy and all that. So I was exactly. I was sitting here. I'm like, man, why is this so obvious to me? Yes. Swan Sits. One of my dear friends. Had dinner with her last night. Shout out to Swan. I know she's a dear friend of yours. So got a lot of mutual folks. Yes. But anyways, 12 12 years ago, yeah. So the rope wraps around my legs, lit my body completely on fire to my neck. I have to dive in the ocean to extinguish the flames. I'm on a tiny little island in Thailand. There's no proper hospital, moped ride to a dirt path.
I think I asked you this at the time, but like, why did that happen? Like, why did you fuck up on the rope?
Thousands of people do that every night in Thailand, and I just had bad luck. I excess kerosene on the rope, and it just splattered me and lit me on fire. But the piece about the mindset that was key was in that hospital, there's a cat running around my bed in the ICU.
Yes, I remember
Mom
saying
saying, the doctor's saying to me, you'll never walk in normally. And my mother, incredible woman that she is, she flies all the way over to Thailand to kind of rescue me. She walks in my room. She's crying in the hallways, pleading for good news from the doctor, but she shields me from that fear. She walks in, she goes, Colin, like, what's your goal? What do you want to do with the rest of it? You're 22 years old. Your life is not over. And I was kind of like, I don't know. I'm like deep, dark spiral, downward spiral. And she's like, no, seriously, what is your goal? And I go, close my eyes. And I was like, Mom, I just visualized myself crossing the finish line at a triathlon. And I figured she was going to look at me and go like, yeah, I said set a goal, but look at your legs. And the doctor said you're not going to walk in. She goes, all right, that's your goal. Let's do that. Let's talk about it every day. Let's visualize it. Let's get it in your mind.
Did you give a shit about triathlons before?
I'd never done it before. I'd swam in college, but like it just in my mind when I figured like what's a fit person, I guess like a highlight reel of like the Kona Ironman or something popped into my head. I'd never done a triathlon before, and so it's a long story.
When did you do this?
The Antarctica crossing was last year. What the book is
when
really
I saw
about.
You,
but the burn accident,
you hadn't done it yet, right?
Hadn't done that yet. I had a couple other world records.
Did you tell me you were going?
Yeah,
I remember. Did you tell me you were going to? I remember it. I'm remembering a lot more about that meeting. Yeah. Did you say you were going to, or it wasn't?
I had just come off a different world record project where I set the speed record for climbing the tallest mountain on each of the 7 continents and going north and south pole.
Yep.
So that was called the Explorers Grand Slam. But then going all the way back to the burn accident, 2009, 2010. I was recovering from that. Moved to Chicago because I needed a job. I was a commodities trader for a quick minute. Yeah.
Real quick. You're really good at doing crazy ass shit. You know what I'm really good at? Selling books.
All right. So let's sell these books.
Here's how we're going to do it. You're not going to tell the whole fucking book
on this fucking
podcast. So we're done with that story. We're going somewhere else.
All right, let's do it.
You're probably going to do 800 other things where you'll tell the whole thing. Everybody, please just buy this book for India. Okay, so Colin, talk to me about this. Where does I actually want you to go. It's funny now. I'm like vibing, and that's why I interrupted you heavy.
I love it.
By the way, by the way, Indy, you're gonna love this. We're launching Interrupted by GaryVee as my interview show. Yes, right? Because look, I have to own it. Like because you know what they're gonna say. I know it's a gift and a curse. All right, listen.
I love it. I'm with it. Let's ride.
All right,
let's sell these books.
Talk to me how much. I want you to go very real because I think you can actually help a lot. You help a lot of people through this. I'm going to give you a curveball that I think you're going to hit and bring a lot of value because I think this is very interesting to me. How much of what you're going through right now do you think about in like a personal brand, Evel Knievel way?
Personal brand, Evel Knievel way.
How much in the way you're strategizing? Yeah. You're living this life now. You're so young still.
Yeah.
You were young at 22, laying there with fire, and now you're young again.
Yes.
You're putting these wins on the board. You've figured out a way to play with your brain that's making shit happen.
Yep.
You've got this book that's going to do well.
Here's what I'll say.
Please.
Here's what I'll say this, is that my wife, Jenna Vsauce, she's in the room. She is really not only my wife, an incredible person, but my business partner. And her and I, and we do talk about this in the book, and I think this appeals to your audience. I'm not going to talk about the book. I'm going to say, but this
it's okay.
idea is in there.
Go ahead.
Is that
actually, Colin, can you read the book verbatim here right now for the rest of this interview?
Yeah, the entire thing. Hold on. So page 1, Colin OBrady, fire to ice, crossing Antarctica alone.
Go ahead.
No. So...
Actually, are you doing an audiobook?
I read it myself.
Good for you. That's where I was
going to go. I'm going to read the first line because I think you might enjoy it.
I believe I will.
The first line of the book is, I started thinking about my hands. That was my first mistake. Boom, you're in, man. You're in. You're fucking in.
I'm in. I'm in. You said boom, you're in a little too fast. If you waited 100th of a beat, I would have been more in. But go ahead.
No, but one thing that we talk about in this book, which is we frame it as from whiteboard into reality.
Yes,
because this book, it is about the adventure and the feat. But Jenna and I sat in a 1-bedroom apartment, had no money, had nothing about marketing, branding, any of this stuff. The first project we were going to do was going to cost $500,000. We have $10,000 to our name, a life savings, And I go, we're going to do this project. We go, wait, we don't know about anything at marketing and PR. We literally pull our laptops and we're Google, what's the difference between marketing and PR? I mean, we're asking the most basic question. We're like, the internet's here. Like, let's just start figuring shit out.
Let's write that article so we show up first on Google.
And so literally that starts happening and we start talking to people. We need sponsorship. We need funding. Talk to 1,000 people. No. You have 200 Instagram followers. Why would we be a part of this? No. But we kept hustling. We kept grinding. We finally found a couple people to believe in us and this. And now we've pulled out projects at a massive scale, but it started there.
It's how every single thing happens. Everybody thinks it's like manifesting, the secret. No, here it is. You know what you're trying to accomplish, and then you have the humility to do the steps to accomplish it, which causes you to deploy an incredible amount of patience and an incredible amount of grind and dirt.
Absolutely. And
asking at scale.
Oh, asking so many people.
And recognizing, so I talk a lot about like ask, DM people, ask, and I get so much pushback from people after they do it.
Yeah.
Like, I read my DMs. I read my stuff. Gary, you told me to DM 50 fucking famous people to eat shit and be their admin, get close to the fucking sun, you fucking asshole, this, that, the other thing, And I'm like, every time I just I'm like, dude, you want to be the next fucking great director in Hollywood, and you think that you gave up after DMing 50 people on Instagram while taking a shit on a Thursday? Fuck you!
After we had said 1,000 people had said no to us. We had only raised.
That was funny.
Can
we clip that? That'll do well on Instagram.
We had only raised $150,000. I'm leaving in 6 weeks. We need the other $350,000, and I'm still doing press. I'm like, I'm doing this. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's keep knocking on doors. And I'm not gonna give away the whole thing in the book, but I do talk about.
Stop. We're gonna bounce. We're gonna stop. I'm not letting you stop. I want to clip it. Do you think like even Evel Knievel? Like, do you think?
No.
Okay.
So the truth is no.
Okay,
to me,
good.
I am not framing this around me doing more stunts and people watching me. What I want with this book and the way the book is written, really, no,
Yep.
this is true. This is candid. Is the book is called The Impossible First, but it is not me. Yes, it's edge of your seat adventure storytelling. You'll like it. It's a page turner. It's an epic story. Whatever.
Who
However.
wrote it?
Hold on. Let me. I want to finish.
Bro,
I know
that's not how my brain works.
I know you've interrupted, but let me finish this one thought. Please let me.
Bro, you can do that one thought 8,000 other fucking places in my fucking show you asked to be on. You used fucking India to get on the show. You hired India
I hired her just to get on your show.
To be get this show.
See,
bro,
I'm continuing
I know what you're doing.
Whiteboard into reality,
I know what you're
bro.
doing, so don't give me some fucking stop story here. I know what the fuck is happening here. They may be confused and make fun of me for interrupting. I'm the least confused fucker you'll ever meet.
It was on my whiteboard. It said, I want to meet GaryVee. And I said, shit, I better hire the girl. She's moving to the West Coast. And here it is, reality. Here it is. That's what I was going to say. That's the last chapter of the book. But no, for real, I'm asking your question is about Evel Knievel, which is, it would be easy for us to frame our brand. Candidly, it would be easy to be like, here's a dude that does badass shit. Watch him do badass shit. Like David Goggins, respect. Like his brand is like on fire. I mean, he's just the badass motherfucker who does hardcore stuff. Like,
love him, right?
You know, and like,
somebody on our
a lot of people are motivated by it. I'm just saying, no knock on him at all.
No, I think you're giving him a lot. You're giving him a ton of love.
Tons of love.
Everybody's got the thing they like doing.
For me, like my heart is not fully in that. After doing this just 2 weeks ago, I just got back from rowing a boat across Drake Passage, 700 miles to Antarctica in a tiny little rowboat. No one in the world's ever done that either. But I'm not sitting here telling you that story necessarily.
But why are you putting that W on the board? I'm fascinated. It's really clever. And I don't think it's up. I'm sorry, clever is not fair. I'm fascinated to... You just brought that up. Yeah. Why? Like, what are you doing?
Here's what I think. Here's my thesis. My thesis is this. What do you
think you're doing?
My thesis is this.
Please.
Is that my canvas, if I think of myself as an artist, is endurance sports and the outdoors. I love doing that. I'm passionate about it. It makes my heart sing. I'm good at it.
Clearly.
However, I think the mindset, the skills, the creativity, the hustle, whatever you want to call that, can be manifested in any modality. That could be entrepreneurship. That could be love. That could be business.
I agree.
And I call this book The Impossible First. I hope that people put this book down. This is not bullshit. And I'm like, pat me on the back, be like, Colin, you're an amazing athlete. You have 10 world records. You're so cool. Like, that is not an ROI for me. The ROI is when someone puts this book down and goes, I'm going to do my impossible first. Now, I'm actually going to not just DM those 50 people while I'm taking a crap.
You want admiration and legacy.
I want admiration and legacy. I actually want the ripple effect of positivity of people actually doing stuff.
I understand.
Yeah.
For what? You understand. Like, for me, I want admiration and legacy.
You want to own the Jets, bro?
No, I do not. I want the game of owning the Jets. And then when I own the Jets, because I will, You want on the Jets too?
Yes.
Okay, well,
For real.
is it a race or do you want to like jump on board?
Come down to collaborate.
Got it. I'm not. I'm very selfish on this one. I'm collabing on everything else. I'm very selfish on this one. I think it's really interesting. It took me a long time to know. I'm listening to you. I always see the world through optimism and cynicism,
Yep.
right? And I always say to myself, like, it took me a long time. I'm like, fuck, why am I like this? Like, why am I not as motivated by money, even though I'm this entrepreneur? Why did I create this thing called I Want to Buy the Jets for the whole world? To make everybody completely confused to think that's what I'm actually up to. That was your answer. As somebody who knows, like, my deep wants and needs are to have admiration and legacy. I want all the best shit that ever happens to me to happen to me when I know that it didn't happen. Meaning after I'm dead. Like, to me, but that's like a fascinating thing to understand why. Like, I'm like, why do I want all the coolest shit to happen where I don't even get to see it?
You want to look back on it? Like, is it for you, for your kids, or your family, the generations
back to
beyond
buying
you?
The Jets, my current hypothesis, because you know this is a forever fucking game. Whenever you're doing something even slightly outside the lane, you're stuck asking yourself, what the fuck? The lane's so easy.
Sure.
This is hard.
Absolutely.
My intuition is actually the statue when I'm dead is exactly like buying the Jets. I'm obsessed with process. And I kind of like this idea that when the end of my process is actually the end of my life.
Sure.
And so there's just this deep curiosity of like, okay, that'll be it. That'll be 000. And then what?
But that's for you. But there's no finish line, right? Like, there's no finish line. No. You want to continue to grow and evolve and continue to keep stepping outside that comfort zone.
Always.
And that's what it is for me. After setting 2 world records in the mountain, it was like,
but
okay.
what's in it for you?
But for me,
that's what is interesting, because I think we in society need to start having a better relationship of the ability to hold both selfish and selfless acts in one. We've become a binary culture where it's black, white, left, right, yes, no. And I think we've completely gotten into a place where we do not have more nuanced conversations. I am fascinated my ability to be selfless through my selfish wants and needs of admiration.
Well, I would say this. You're saying, and I agree with this, by leading by example, by actually living your full truth in your full capacity, you're actually having a larger impact. You're having more resources, but also by actually sharing this, by being on this
100%.
podcast, by writing books, by speaking, 100%. All the things that you and I both do, you maybe at a bigger level, but like that actually inspires people, not because you're like, oh, but it's not about me. You're like, I'm doing this. I care about this. I have conviction.
Here's actually what's funny about it, and this is why I think you might be somebody that might help. I'm curious if you can, like, I'm hoping you email me in 13 weeks and be like, I got something, because I think it's an interesting thought. I think everything's about me, which makes everything I do nothing about me.
Silence.
Because it's an interesting thought. Like, let me make it very clear so it's not confusing. I only do what I want to do every minute. The end. Ironically, quite a bit of that leads to bringing an uncomfortable level of value in comparison to my contemporaries.
Sure. Well, I think that what do people say to you? But Gary,
so
why?
Other people can,
but Gary, why? Right? Like, people are asking you that. People ask me, Colin, why would you walk across Antarctica? Why? To me, it's like it's almost hard for me to answer because it's so obvious why I would want to do that.
Because I just want to tell motherfuckers like, yo, fuck you. I walked across Antarctica. To me, that's like what's cool about it. Like, fuck. Nate, who's my partner in Empathy Wines, who was my admin for many years, who worked here for a long time. India knows him well. Oh shit. I gotta FaceTime my kids. That's what this is. All right, we're gonna wrap this up in a minute. Right. Let me tell this story, and I'll buy you a couple minutes here to say how much I love you.
All right.
I like to razz. Like, he was like I love when I've had India and I have a very special relationship. Like, Team Gary and I are very close, but like when you go into like even into admin world, it gets even to like another deeper thing. And so like, I'm always thinking about like what works, like how do I bring people value? And everybody that I work with has different things. Is it like, do you go with radical candor? Do you go with kindness? Do you randomly call them? Do you randomly follow them? What do you do? What do you do to like bring the most value to them? Talks, are you always there do you make them feel like you're there for them? Do you try to build when they move to Portland, do you try to make sure people know about it so that people that do know me want them? Like, I know what I'm doing, okay? So Nate, I would always like razz about like I'm gonna have to go there. I've beaten Nate in tennis every time we've played. All right. And what's even more fun is
let that be known.
And more importantly, listen, 10 world records. I've beaten Nate every time I played him in tennis. Number 2, Nate has been beating me in tennis on 3 separate occasions, 5-2 to win the set, which is what we're talking about because we play one set.
What happened in those games?
I decide mentally not to lose. Now, to your point that if I went naked in Antarctica, I would freeze and die to death. It wasn't just that, because then I would have never lost a match in my life. If I've decided not to lose, I would never lose. There's something in the relationship of me and Nate that has allowed me to do that. But anyway, I would bring this up a bunch to razz him, having fun, real fun, like, you know, brother banter type stuff. And then finally, like, I was like, I gotta like help him figure out how to like counter me. So I said, Nate.
Don't tell me you started intentionally losing to him.
Are you out of your fucking mind? I said, no. I said, Nate, you're a scratch golfer. People give a fuck about golf in society for
whatever reason.
Yeah, people like a lot of different things. Like, I said, next time I say to you and make fun of you in front of people, 5'2", you ask me what my handicap is. Well, I've never golfed. I don't even know, like 17 times, maybe 11. So now he uses that all the time.
And does it get in your head? Is it harder for you to battle back in that set?
Well, my big thing is like everybody's got strengths and weaknesses, and like I'm very passionate about people leaning into their strengths. And then ultimately, and this is what's making this interview fun for me, is I want people who have emotional intelligence strengths to really. I wish that the world out there that was really compassionate and empathetic and sympathetic and kind realized they're the strong and they can win the whole thing. They continue to buy into their pushovers and people walk over them. That's because they don't realize that they actually use kindness as a manipulation, not as a truth. They're getting walked over because they actually weren't being kind. Their intent was wrong. They were trying to create some sort of scenario, but they did it in a way that was too obvious, and that's why somebody walked over them.
But I think, I mean, I hate to do this, but I'm bringing it back to the book.
Please.
The last chapter of my book is called Infinite Love. And that is not exactly what people would expect from a badass dude that goes alone and does this super hard thing that no one ever has done. But in harnessing the positivity, harnessing the love, harnessing that compassion, empathy, my wife, my team, etc., that's what I wanted to leave behind with this legacy, to go like, no one can kind of question me in terms of like the difficulty, the challenge, what I've been through, whatever. So I can sit here and be like, but it's like, hey, I got there not from having the most ruthless chip on my shoulder. I'm super ambitious. I'm going to knock on 1,000 doors. And if I don't get on 1,000th time, I'm going to knock on 1,001. But at the same time, where my mind went and the very last, I'm starving. My ribs are protruding. I'm running out of food. I ended up pushing 77 miles in 32 hours straight on the very last day because I went to a place in my mind so deep in flow, so deep in commitment, which is what you're saying about the tennis match. Like, I'm just not going to lose. And this was actually a race. There was another dude out there battling me.
I live in that flow.
Right.
I actually live in that flow.
And that's the beautiful, most beautiful place, the most profound place.
It's something that we have to, like, you know, it's so funny. I'm so happy meditation. You know what's really on the rise? Breathing.
Yes.
I'm seeing that really, breathing is, no, really, it's on the rise. People are really starting to talk.
I'm long breathing for sure.
You know what's funny? Like, I've been talking about meditation for 5 years, and I'm like, look, I don't meditate. But
Dude,
I'm so pumped for other people like that. Like everybody finds their thing. Like some people love running; they get a runner's high. I hear, you know, like I get shin splints in 1 second and want to kill the world. Like we all have our things. Like my big thing though is like, quickly, breathing is really on the rise. Tons of people are starting to are getting into like truly like being thoughtful about breathing. And
I breathe every day, personally.
There's a ton of, no, but listen, I mean, this is really cool. This is really cool to me because I want to put this out there because I want people to dig into it. You know, this notion of like, if you exhale more than you inhale, it's like a very basic thought of like, get your brain thinking that you're actually resting. Like I just have had three separate friends who could not sleep, alcohol, pills, meditation, reading, different beds, sound machines, oxygen, open window, closed window, new rooms, moving, planes, walking. I'm going through it all. 3 different friends with some variations of those all get into great sleeping behavior on 5 minutes of breathing before they go to bed. Raghav, you got something for me on this?
Well, Wim Hof's thing, like you mentioned.
I don't know what we're talking about, but go ahead.
He has like this breathing technique that's like 10 minutes long.
There's some dude.
I do that
he's on the back of the book.
And that's like a big thing. And
Irresistible Read, The Impossible First. That's one urgent question. With the right mindset, what is each of us capable of? From Wim Hof.
Love it.
Yeah, he's just he's a breathing. And he's breathing and cold and breathing.
Yeah, cold showers.
Yeah.
Breathing.
You do this shit?
Yeah.
But not all the time because it's hardcore?
No, twice a day.
Twice a day you shower cold?
Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah. Do hard
it's
stuff.
hard, but like in the beginning it was really hard, but now it's gotten.
Bro, I think everything's easy. Just fucking talk to yourself into it.
The meditation
shit,
that I did to begin this 10 years ago, long before I thought I was ever going to do this, is I got introduced. Someone said, go meditate. I never meditated a minute in my life. And I went and signed up for a 10-day Vipassana course. 10-day, no reading, no writing, no eye contact. And for me, was it difficult? Yes, but committing to like, I want to do this. I want to take a deep immersion, and that trained my mind to have the daily practice of what you're talking about, Rob, which is actually doing it daily, but taking that deep dive first, have that full immersion. Most people say, I'm not going to do 10 days unless I earn up to that over time. This.
And for some people, that's the way it works.
For sure.
Right? Like, here's what people don't understand. They listen to podcasts like this and are like, yeah, whatever. Like, not what people don't understand is like there's 87,000 different ways. It's that we're not talking about all the ways that didn't work.
For sure.
Like we're sitting here trying to articulate all the things that did work. There's like a million things that don't work. It's about action.
But actually keeping trying different things until something works.
Which goes to self-esteem because so many people are scared about their loss publicly.
For sure.
How many, in your 10 world records, how many times have you tried to create a world record and not succeed?
Before I set a single world record, I spent 20 years of my life trying to make the Olympics, and I didn't make the Olympics. I came close. I fell short in 2 sports, in swimming and then also in triathlon. And then I kept reinventing myself, and now I have 10 world records. So
do you have
you could say I failed for 20 years.
Do you have like that weird lung thing?
I
really. I think
well.
the Nike runner guy, when he passed away, like the guy
Big VO2 max and stuff like that.
he had some sort of like, then he like chopped him open and he like had ribs, like
so
lungs.
far I've been tested a lot. I think I have pretty normal lungs. You know, I might have a slightly better capacity than the average person, but
I fucking hate running.
Yeah, I heard the shin splints, man.
Yeah, but that's
shoes,
like a
maybe.
cop out. Like I just don't like it. I love jump rope though. I'm hot on jump rope right now.
Yeah, you got to breathe the jump rope, high breathing.
I hate breathing. No, really. I know I don't. I don't like forcing myself to breathe harder. Like I don't. Like even like when I was like, this is recently on my radar, which is why I'm talking about like the whole exhale harder. I'm like, I don't like that. It's like it's hard. You know what I mean? I like things that come easy. I actually do. It's a very back to like it. This is why I think I talk so much about strengths. I like the things that come easy to me. For most people, they're not a robot and can work 22 hours in a day like I did yesterday. Like, and by the way, I think everyone should sleep 7 and 8 and 9 hours. Yesterday, serendipitously, because I went to the national championship game, and then you got to go with the fucking champion LSU players to the club. If you're in the sports representation business, you're fucking in this business. And like, and then my alarm didn't go off, and like fucking all sorts of shit happened today. Punchline is, most people can't do that. I have natural energy.
Heck yeah, yeah.
So I'm leaning into my natural energy. Some people are pretty. Dustin, like, I don't know how that being a pretty life is, but you know the advantages of that. No, but really, I really think in wrapping this up, there's no way, look, I believe that people are listening who are going to be like, I'm going to do that too. I do not believe that everyone was given the same group of talents. I do think that we should all challenge ourselves to be self-aware and try to figure out the talents. And then if we're lucky that those talents match something we're interested in doing, we have to go pot committed to that.
What I would say as a final thought, at least for me,
Please.
you talked about my lungs. Are they bigger? Are they stronger? Am I tall? I mean, I'm pretty, 6 foot, tall guy. But what I say, I believe the strongest muscle that any of us have
100%.
is the 6 inches between our ears. And that's what we all have. We are born with a mind that we can flex and develop in all sorts of different ways.
Some people go with what they wish it was versus what it actually is. The brain can't, listen, I believe in the, bro, I actually asked you, because I actually was asking, if cold is a brain thing.
Yeah.
Because I think it is. I don't know. Like I just decided at some point like that let me tell you the true answer. Yeah. I was losing coats all the time because I'm quite absent-minded. This is true. I would lose my coat and my mom would get pissed. She's like, what the fuck's the matter with you? Because it would be every time. Get a coat, take it to school, and I'd be like, where the fuck's my coat? And it'd be over. So then finally, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to wear coats anymore. I don't need them. And like, I just convinced myself that I don't know. I've just
You're good with no coat.
I just never wear a coat.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What the fuck is that? Jake?
Sounds like a mentality then.
Right. On the flip side, I do not think I can mentality myself to being the starting quarterback of the New York Jets. I do not think I can mentality myself to sing like Beyonce. I don't. I do not believe. Do I think I can be a better football quarterback in backyard football? Yes, I do. Do I think I can be a better singer? Yes, I do. But we have to have an understanding of like where.
But wouldn't you rather, and your goal was not to actually play quarterback for the Jets, but wouldn't you rather set the massively audacious goal, and if you fall short of it, like I fell short of the Olympics, you still land them somewhere and take what you've learned along that way and develop it into the next thing?
Of course,
right?
if I was interested in it.
If you were
Of
interested in
course.
it. That's why I say to people, set that audacious goal.
What I wouldn't do, which is what I see from a trillion fucking comments, is then come up with unlimited amounts of excuses and blame to why I didn't become Beyonce.
Right. But aim that high, engage the process 1,000 times, 10,000 times.
I believe it. My brain tells me that I'm the president of the United States. Obviously, I logically know that I wasn't born in this country, but like I really believe that if I was born in this country, I would be the president of the United States of America in the next 20 years. I really believe that.
If you had to go between president or owning the Jets, what would you do? If you had to pick one or the other.
You know what's funny? My brain doesn't even work that way because I can't be president. I don't like make pretend. That's like asking me if I want wings and fly. I am not allowed.
Would be cool though.
If I could, I'd fucking win, and I'd win big. I'd win big. I just like humans and they like me back.
Yeah, respect.
That's just real life. Listen, everybody, please pick up this book. It's important to India. And Colin too, I guess. Colin, thank you so much for being on the show, man. Good luck with the book.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.